everybody, and welcome once again to Real Shame, a weekly show where we talk about our list of movie blind spots or our list of shame. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And the last time we filmed, or the last time we did an episode, on Monday, 2 days ago, we did our first anime film, or not our first anime because we did Onward at one point, but our first anime from Japan.
Yeah, not animated, but I would say anime.
Yeah, anime film, and that was 1993's Ninja Scroll.
Yep.
And you paired it with what?
Sword of the Stranger, which was a movie that we both haven't seen.
Both have not seen, but you read that it was kind of critically acclaimed.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's get into Sword of the Stranger.
取引だ。飛び丸の命を助けて、オイラたちをシラトの満覚寺に連れて行けば、こいつをくれてやる。金10両の値打ちもんだぞ。
10両？
あ、そうだ。金10両だ。
So, Sword of the Stranger came out in 2007. 2007, yep. It's directed by Mashiro Anadu. And again, forgive the pronunciations. If you didn't watch Monday's episode, just know that we're trying our best.
We're trying, yeah.
So basically, Sword of the Stranger follows a boy, Kotaro, and his dog as they seek help from a monk, Master Zenaki. He comes across a stranger, Nanashi, I guess, who, after dispatching some bad guys, Kotaro hires to help him on his journey. The Ming army is after Kotaro, and it's led by a dangerous blonde-haired man named Liu Lang. So again, like we said earlier, it's a movie that we both haven't seen. What'd you feel about coming hot off of your like of Ninja Scroll? What'd you think of Sword of the Stranger?
So I watched Ninja Scroll one day, and then I watched Sword of the Stranger the following day. Yeah. And I was riding high on Ninja Scroll, so when I sat down to watch Sword of the Stranger, I thought there's no way this is going to compare to Ninja Scroll. But whereas I liked Ninja Scroll a lot, I loved Sword of the Stranger.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I thought
it
was awesome. This is a really, really great movie, in my opinion. Like, I was completely on board with it. Yeah. I was like just enthralled while I watched it. I think I really enjoyed the relationship between kind of the no-name guy and Kotaro, and his dog is Tobimaru. Is that right?
Yeah,
something like that.
And it's isn't it a corgi?
Something like that. I don't know.
Oh no, it's a Shiba Inu.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. It's animated, but no, like the movie was just so cool to me. One thing that we didn't mention when we talked about Ninja Scroll, you'd seen Ninja Scroll before. I'd never seen it. Kind of like with Kagemusha, I felt like it took me a little bit to kind of catch up and feel, and I felt the same way with Sword of the Stranger.
I really felt it with Swords of the Stranger.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of characters and there's a lot of stuff going on, and some of them are Chinese and some of them are Japanese, and so I was like, let me make sure I know what the hell's going on here. So I paid very close attention, and then when I was done with the movie, I read like a synopsis to make sure I hadn't missed anything. But I definitely felt like, man, I better not, I better really focus. Not that I don't do that anyway when I watch films, but I really felt like I was trying to play catch up, but not in a bad way. Once I kind of felt like I knew what was happening and could kind of sit back and relax and enjoy the movie, I thought it was amazing. Again, so the stranger, or the guy that has no name, basically, he doesn't want to use his sword. And he spends virtually the entire movie kicking all kinds of ass without ever actually taking his sword out of the hilt, which I thought was so cool. And when he finally, because of course, he finally does use his sword.
It's Chekhov's sword.
It is awesome. Like when he finally pulled it out and dispatched the bad guy, I was practically jumping up and down. Awesome. I thought it was really awesome. What did you think?
I thought it was good.
Like, sucks.
No, no. I thought it was good. I don't know if I'm as hot on it as you are, but I like it as much as I like Ninja Scroll. I think maybe I was just in a weird mood when I watched it, because I watched it over the weekend. Again, I did 2 separate days like you. So it wasn't as exciting for me, but I do think it's a good movie, and I do think it was, time well spent. The one thing I kind of wish was that I wish I spoke and understood Japanese a little bit more, because I'm curious to know if the Ming soldiers were speaking Chinese or speaking a different language other than Japanese.
Yeah.
Because to my ear, it sounded very similar.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be very interesting, and maybe they didn't do this, it'd be very interesting to have those characters speak a foreign language other than what the movie was made in, which was Japanese and stuff like that. So I was kind of curious about that because for us, we're watching, we just get subtitles for both.
It all sounds the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said with Kagemusha, it was very hard to tell, the different tribes of people, I guess, the different groups of people apart. But it's very interesting, that kind of comparison to Kagemusha. But I do like, the action in it. I like the kind of hiding little. It's not as fantasy as Ninja Scroll is, but basically they're trying to capture that boy because they're gonna use him to live forever, right? Or at least until I think it's like the next 99 years or some. It was like 100. It was something around there.
Yeah,
it was a large
some
number.
kind of ritual where they're trying to gain immortality, and they have to sacrifice this kid to do it. Yeah,
and on my notes, all I have are like cool action pieces that we saw, like using the dead guy as a shield was a baller. The dog ripped out the dude's throat. He chopped off the emperor's arm. Like all that stuff, I was just really, really kind of into the movie. So I think it's just a fun kind of action movie to kind of. It was a lot of fun, a lot of cool set pieces and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I felt more emotional towards this kind of film, or it kind of hooked me more emotion-wise than Ninja Scroll, because in Ninja Scroll, I honestly didn't care whether Jubei got together with Kagero. But this movie, I definitely wanted to see this guy save the kid. And honestly, the kid starts off being like Christian
annoying.
Bale in Empire of the Sun. He's kind of obnoxious, he's kind of annoying. So the first part of the movie, I was like, screw this kid. Like, what? Why is this swordsman guy even care about this guy? But later on, it's kind of revealed he has a past.
Yeah.
And, there's a reason why he doesn't want to pull his sword.
And he saved the dog.
Yeah. But just over time, you do grow, I feel like, to like the kid and just to like that whole relationship that he has with this guy, because he has no parents. His parents have been killed. He's an orphan, and everybody's out to get him. And his one friend in the world is this stranger guy, no name, that doesn't even fight using his sword.
Well, and the interesting thing about that too is that he gets told to go meet up with that Master Zekai, right, by the other monk who he thinks is his friend.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets there, that Master Zekai just turns on him. The other monk turns on him. And his friend's there, and he's like, are we doing this? And he's like, yeah, we're doing this. Yeah. And he doesn't like really put up a fight. So yeah, his only friend is this, cell sword that he kind of paid for and stuff like that. And I think it's, and he like rushes after him, like, until his horse dies, and then he's running after him and stuff like that. And then he hears him cry out, and it just gives him enough energy. So I like that whole leading up to it and stuff. So
yeah, the action scenes were really cool. The animation I thought was really cool. It had I don't know. I mean, I'm no animation expert, but it looked like they used some kind of crazy camera techniques in different parts of it to make, like, when they're riding horses or something like that, or there's the background kind of moving around. Again, I sound like a moron because I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just know they draw, or they use computers to animate things nowadays. But anyway, I thought the animation was very fluid and very cool looking. This is not, well, it's still pretty graphically violent. There's no kind of graphic sexual stuff in this film because there's no real females. I mean, there are some females in the movie, but there's no real female protagonists or anything like that. I think there's a female bad guys. I remember that. But they, but again, this is not really a movie for youngins.
Again, no, I totally agree with that. And I agree with you. I think the action's really fun and really interesting. I like this newer kind of updated to the animation style. I prefer it over Ninja Scroll if we're going to compare the two. Yeah. Because Ninja Scroll just shows its age a little bit, and the lines are super dark, but this kind of feels a little bit lighter and around that. The other interesting thing is that the relationship between No Name and Lu Lang is very interesting when we compare it to Ninja Scroll, because they kind of have a past. And then when we're looking at Ninja Scroll with Jubei and the Gemma, they also have a past. So it's kind of interesting that kind of theme or that kind of story point kind appeared in both these movies.
Yeah, and I mean the final kind of climactic showdown between No Name, Nanashi, and Luo Lang is to me more evenly matched, I guess, than because the Ninja Scroll again he kind of uses the gold in the way because the guy that he's fighting in Ninja Scroll is basically immortal already, or he can reincarnate. He can attach parts of his body that have been cut off and whatnot. So in sort of the Stranger, these two guys fighting at the end are more kind of equal.
And I like how Liu Lang is just like the whole time he just wants to find someone that's worthy of fighting.
Yeah.
And so like when the Emperor's like, let's go, and he's like, nope, he's like, nope, this is my time. This is how I want to go. I want to go out.
I'm going to cut your arm off.
Yeah.
Because you're going to try and shoot him.
Yeah. So I thought it was a very cool kind of movie. I was worried you weren't gonna like these, but I'm glad you kind of were on board with them.
I liked them both. But I really really dug Sword of the Stranger even more than Ninja Scroll. And again, I feel like there has been talk about adapting both of these into live action movies.
Yeah.
I feel like Sword of the Stranger. I mean, Ninja Scroll. If you keep it as is, obviously it's got some graphic stuff in there that I think they're going to want to tamp down some.
Yeah.
Sword of the Stranger. It's going to be violent, but I think it lends itself quite well probably to a live action adaptation.
And you get like a lone wolf kind of feeling. Was it Lone Wolf and Cub?
Yeah.
Kind of vibe to it. So yeah, I mean, I think, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it would move well to live action.
Yeah, because again, I feel like that whole story about him protecting the kid as well as protecting the kid's dog. And the kid protecting the dog as well. All of that is very heartwarming, honestly, even amidst all the throats being ripped out and arms being cut off and people being sliced in half and all that stuff. You've got this really heartwarming kind of family story.
Hey, those are the best kind of stories.
Yes.
Man.
But no, it's good. It's a good movie, I think. And again, I think both it and Ninja Scroll are well worth your time for sure. So start with either one, but I think that they're both really good.
Did you look up any reviews for us?
Yeah, so there is no critics score on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is 91%. No reviews from Ebert or Leonard Maltin. Again, they don't. I think they don't have much anime reviews anyway. I'm not saying they never watch anime films, but they don't have any anime reviews that I could see. But yeah,
totally like us. So that was our review on Sword of the Stranger. Surprising both of us, but also pretty good. If that's something you haven't seen, we recommend you check it out. Mm-hmm. All right. So, Andy, did you know this is our 50th episode?
It is. What?
Actually, you informed me it was our 50th episode.
Yes.
So,
I see that.
For our 50th episode, we decided to have a little look back on the things that we have done. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to choose the top 5 movies that we've seen for the podcast, but were movies that were on our list.
Yeah, so we had never seen them before we started doing this show.
Yep.
Because I feel like if we pick movies that we've seen before, I mean, that's kind of easy.
You're like Pirates of the Caribbean, Independence Day.
My favorite ones or whatever. So it has to be, in order to be considered, it had to be a movie that we had never seen before. Yep. That was really the only stipulation.
And I think we should go 5-1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So do you want to kick it off or you want me to kick it off?
So I'll kick it off because I actually, as I was looking through, I had a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. I did enjoy Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, but it didn't make my top 5. I thought Stripes was pretty funny. It was a heck of a lot funnier than Meatballs.
Oh, yeah, that was
which
terrible.
I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Meatballs is the worst film that I had never seen that I watched just because it was not funny at all. There may have been other movies that I hated more than Meatballs, but I had seen them before. The other honorable mention for me, actually, I'm cheating here, but a movie that I technically had seen, but I remembered nothing about, and that was Mystic Pizza. Yeah. I actually really liked Mystic Pizza, but I couldn't include that because I technically did see it when I was like 13 or 14, even though seeing it this time was like seeing it for the first time because I remembered nothing about it. But number 5 for me, and maybe this is recency bias, but it's Ninja Scroll.
Oh, actually. Awesome!
That's number 5 crept in right there at number 5, which we
right
just
under
reviewed,
the line.
Which we just reviewed on Monday. But I thought Ninja Scroll was pretty awesome, man. I really, really dug it.
That's great.
What was your number 5?
So I'm cheating a little bit.
Oh
yeah. So this is a movie that I technically haven't seen before the podcast.
It's your Mystic Pizza.
It's my Mystic Pizza. Except for if it was Mystic Pizza that you slept through while seeing it in the theater.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm cheating a little bit because I really probably only saw 5 minutes of this movie before.
I was going to say, we'll allow it since you fell asleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's Sky Captain: The World Tomorrow. I was really, really surprised by how well this movie was. And I, like we said, and I think leading up to it, outside the podcast, I would bemoan how bad it was. And
I remember. Yeah. I remember.
And I kind of told Andy that it wasn't going to be great. And, we were doing it just to get a rise out of it and to pair with the Rocketeer and stuff. But this movie really, really surprised me. And it made number 5 on my list.
Cool. Number 4 for me is another movie that I feel like we also, because we did review it fairly recently, a movie that on paper I don't think that I should have liked, but I found actually really hilarious, and that was Super with Rainn Wilson, the James Gunn kind of Valentine to his trauma days. That comes in at number 4 for me. Super.
Nice.
I thought Super was super funny.
Super is it's a fun movie. It wasn't for me, but I can totally see where you can get a lot of enjoyment out of the movie.
Yeah.
For me, number 4 is a movie we reviewed pretty recently, and This Is Spinal Tap.
Nice.
Took me many, many years to watch it, but I am glad that I did watch it, and I think it's as funny now as it was when it came out. So, This Is Spinal Tap. Highly recommend it. That's my number 4.
Yep.
What's
Very
your
funny
number?
Movie.
Sorry, go on. I cut you off. You said very funny movie?
Yeah. Very, very funny movie. Number 3 for me is Yo Ho Ho and a Bottle of Fun. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. Curse of the Black Pearl. I always want to say Dead Man's Chest, but that's not the first one.
No, that's
the
not.
First one is the Curse of the Black Pearl.
It's not as good.
Right, yeah, and I've been meaning to get around to watching a few more of the Pirates of the Caribbean, however you want to say it, movies, but I have yet to watch anything besides the first one. But I thought the first one was a lot of fun. I'm disappointed that I waited however long, 17 years to watch it, but I'm glad that I finally watched it. And it is a movie that I could see myself watching again, even if I do watch the sequels and they all suck and I don't ever watch them again. I would watch the first one again for sure.
Well, I think I speak for the audience when I say that you did your James Bond ranking, you did your Mission Impossible ranking. I think we need a Pirates ranking.
Oh yeah, once I watch all the Pirates movie, I'll rank them.
Yeah, so we need that. We'll do best Johnny Depp performance in all the movies, best movie, and then we'll choose some other random things to pull over. But yeah,
sounds good to me.
That's what we need. So we're on number 3. So this is the movie I think you were scared about my reaction to, but this movie is a classic. It makes a lot of critics' top list, and that is Casablanca with Bogey himself.
Yeah.
I was super nervous about watching this movie because it has so much weight and baggage, not baggage in a negative sense, but just baggage about it. And I'm telling you now, everything you've heard about this movie is true. And if you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice, and check it out and you will enjoy it. So my number 3 is Casablanca. Again, with you, I waited way too long to watch it, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and I mean, Casablanca, it's not on my list because I'd seen it before, but had I never seen it, I'm sure it probably would be on my top 5 as well. So number 2 and number 1 for me were so close because I could easily say that these 2 movies stood out for me the most out of all the episodes that we've done so far, the 49 episodes that have come before this, and now this one, the 50 episodes that we've done. But I had to make a choice, and I didn't want to let recency bias creep in too much, but number 2 is the movie we just reviewed, Sword of the Stranger.
Sword of the Stranger.
I thought it was freaking awesome, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Again, Ninja Scroll, number 5, Sword of the Stranger, number 2. So I guess I must like this anime stuff.
We're going to turn you into was it Kotaku? Oh, no, Otaku. I think it's Otaku.
Sure. Okay.
It's if I remember correctly from my Metal Gear lore, Otaku and popular culture is someone who likes anime.
Oh, okay.
Or is an anime fan.
I mean, I like Ghost in the Shell. I like Akira, even though I don't think I understand it. I think I like Ghost in the Shell better because it makes more sense to me. But those kind of 4 major anime, I guess Sword of the Stranger would be considered a major anime that I've seen. And maybe I've seen a couple of others, but those are the 4 that I can think of. I thought they were all good. Yeah. And I think Sword of the Stranger is probably the best one out of those 4, if I could say that.
I would really like us to watch Cowboy Bebop some point. I need to revisit that. That is an awesome anime. And, we can also do Samurai Champloo, I think it is, which is the same person who did Cowboy Bebop, but done in a feudal Japan kind of setting. So
I'd be down.
We should, we'll get those prioritized after we go through my giant list of movies I haven't seen.
So in the year 2030,
2030.
we will get around to watching
When
Cowboy Bebop
when this
and
beard is gray.
Samurai Champloo, and this belly is this much bigger. Okay.
All right.
Number two.
Number two. Sorry, I digressed too much. Number two was a movie that I pretty much knew. I knew I was going to enjoy, but I really enjoyed a whole lot, and that's Magnificent Seven. I think we gushed on it a little bit when we talked about it, but Yul Brynner is awesome in there. Charles Bronson is amazing in it. Even Steve McQueen does a great job. That is just a great Western, and I really enjoyed watching that movie.
Charles Bronson was like the Nanashi of that movie. Yeah. He had the little kids that he kind of took under his wing.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. No, Magnificent Seven is awesome. I enjoyed watching it again for the first time in many, many years. So I'm happy that that is your number two.
Number two.
So now we're down to me, number one. And again, this was kind of neck and neck with number two, Sword of the Stranger. But I remember when we did the episode on this show, when we reviewed the movie on this show, I don't know how long ago it's been. Feels like it's been a while. But I kind of gushed over how much I loved it, and I still love it. And it's John Carpenter's Starman. That is my number one movie that I've watched so far that I had never seen. Again, I mentioned this whenever we did that episode. I think Starman and his most recent movie, The Ward or whatever it is, are the only Carpenter movies, excluding his television stuff, because he's done some TV movies that I've not seen. But I think those are the only two theatrical films that he's done that I had not seen up to that point. And now, of course, the only one that's left is the most recent one, which I've heard sucks. But Starman, I thought, was an awesome kind of 80s classic sci-fi movie. I really, really enjoyed watching it. Jeff Bridges' performance is kind of funny, but I do think that it's unique. And again, I really like the cinematography in that movie and kind of the beautiful vistas and just kind of them going on the road and doing their thing, trying to get him back home, just like E.T. But yeah, that's my number one is Starman. But it could very easily have been Sword of the Stranger. They were very, very close.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Starman Phone Home. All right. So me, number one. So Andy knows and Kirby knows and probably all my friends know. I'm not a Scorsese fan. I'm a big movie buff. Or I consider myself a movie buff, but I don't like Scorsese films. They just don't do it for me. So imagine my surprise when we follow up The Hustler. The Hustler. Whoa. Different movie. Followed The Hustler, which is a great movie, and I enjoyed. But when we followed up with Scorsese's Color Money, imagine my surprise when I was like, this movie is awesome. My number one is the first major Scorsese film that I like, and that's The Color Money. I think that movie is awesome. I like the way it's shot. I like everything. I think Paul Newman in it is fantastic. Tom Cruise, maybe not my favorite part of it, but I just really dig the crap out of that movie. So my number one is Color Money. Yeah, well, and I was shocked whenever you liked it when we did that particular episode, because I do know your ire towards Mr. Martin Scorsese. So I was thinking you would probably like The Hustler maybe, but Color Money, you might be like, or whatever. So no, I think that's awesome that you could put aside any kind of disdain that you might have for this guy's movies, and that The Color Money actually made number one. Because, yeah, it is a good movie. I think The Hustler is better personally, but I think The Color Money is a very, very solid sequel and a very impressive movie for Paul Newman, especially, like you said. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. That's our top five. That's our top five. 50 episodes. 50 episodes. So on episode 100, we'll have to expand it to 10. Yeah, and see if some of these guys drop off. Yeah, exactly. Right. They very well could. Very well could. You never know. So that was our top 5 movies, like Andy said. What are your top movies that you've watched because of this podcast? I know a few of you guys I've talked to, and you've seen some movies that you haven't seen before, and you've come across some surprises. So if you've found a gem that was new to you because of this podcast, leave us a comment. If you're on YouTube, shoot us an email and let us know. We'd really like to hear that. Mm-hmm. If you have a question you'd like to answer on air, shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. Follow us on social media @realshame. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff, because it really does help. And stay tuned next time as we pull another movie from our list of shame and review it for you guys. We'll see you next time, guys.